And on the intermediates, we had 470 pounds, which is a little bit softer than what the intermediate says. And our diamonds were at number 9 on the loose gauge, which, I don't know, I mean, that's probably like 50 pounds. It's pretty soft.
So really loose on the diamonds.
Really loose on the diamonds to straighten the mast out, you know, make the main a little full. Which seemed pretty good. I mean, I don't know that we were the fastest off it, but we always had good speed. Always felt pretty good. You know, maybe looser intermediates might have been a little better, but it seems like the trend has been to sail pretty tight intermediates. So we haven't permanently softer. The lowers were almost sloppy loose on it. We're almost taking the lowers right off the tree.
We're starting out at 39.5. But that's at our base setting at 260 pounds on the uppers. And we're down as far as 90 on the uppers in this kind of breeze. So we have 4 steps. And our base is sort of a 12 to 14 base. And then we'll step down for that for 8 to 10. And then another step down for this lighter air. And that's 10 turns off both the uppers and our diamonds. So both of those are at 90 on the Arcan gauge, the pressure gauge.
Rig
to Pro. Which is really good for us. My whole focus is making sure there's enough headstay sag, at least a couple inches of headstay sag, to allow air to keep it going on the wind. If the headstay gets too straight on this boat, the bow just seems to go into it, leak through it. So as long as there's enough headstay sag, you can keep the bow off, and then we just match the main trim and jib at that point.
I'm not the expert here.
Man, I don't know. These boats are hard. You know, I got a son on a Melges 32 that has seemed so similar, and we're trying to start that boat like we're sailing a Par 40, which set up really close to the line. But these boats do not hold their lane or hold their position. And so if you ever get too slow in these boats, and then you pull the jib out and try to get it going, it seems like this slight luring.
Right.
They're hard. And I don't have the secret because our starts aren't, you know, even perfect. But if you can figure out a way to come in with speed, maybe hook a guy and create a little hole, that'd be great. You guys tell me. You guys are so much better at it. You know, we struggle with that. Well, you guys have, you know, 2 really good stars. You know.
I think the key is to always keep the boat moving.
Keep the flow moving.
Right. It seemed like the people that pulled their jibs out late and the people that put their boats head to wind or even close to head to wind today, within 45 seconds of the starting line, never got their boat back up to speed again. The boats that got their jibs out early and got their boats powered up quick, like you guys did, Jeff, on the last start. I mean, right, you were going with what, 50 seconds before the start? You were almost full speed?
Then we did a big up to get separation.
Right.
We were late to get going again. We never really stopped moving.
Right.
And I think the rule of thumb is never go slower than 2 knots. So you don't lose a dash, because then you just start going sideways.
Right.
A couple inches. The flip side of that is when the wind picks up. And when the wind picks up, you have to do something quick to get that out because it's like the flaps down on an airplane. It'll slow you down. So we're playing with the idea when we get a puff, just taking that upper shroud and just pulling it back. And then going to the bang, and then easing the main sheet. But I think getting the head stay straighter first is our objective. Then pulling the bang so we can ease the main sheet. You can't ease the main sheet unless the bang's on because the boat doesn't have a trap line. If you just ease the main sheet, the main will actually get fuller, twistier, and the boat will sail more smoothly. So that's our goal. That's what we're working on. But if I had to err on anything, I would err softer than harder on the rig.
Especially today,
Especially today. Probably
Does the rest of the panel out there agree with the head stay sag philosophy that you're talking about?
For sure, yeah. As long as you're intentional.
Yeah.
90 pounds.
No, kilos.
Yeah, I'm soft.
It's kilo.
But that's kilos. So
It's kilo, not pounds.
So it's kilos. Yeah.
So both of them had their uppers set up. Well, actually, you had your uppers or intermediates at 470.
We are much tighter.
Much tighter than what Wally and Eric
And I felt relative to your boat that when it got light, we felt pretty good against you. But I felt when you had some pressure, you guys could hold your That was my impression. I thought your bow would stay up a little bit easier once we had the pressure, but when it all went milky, maybe we get some. That was it. It was good.
Okay. Sam, how about you? Talk loudly if you can. Please get some hearing. I know you can talk loud.
It's usually not a problem. We were basically just set up off the north tuning guide, and the rake and the settings on our uppers and lowers, and we were 10 full turns off in the first race today. And
On the uppers.
Sorry,
On the
on the
intermediate.
diamonds.
On the diamond.
Yeah, and just listening to people talk yesterday, that's what a lot of people were doing, and it seemed to be okay. And then for the next race, when the pressure was up a little bit more, we basically halved it and just went 5 full turns off from our base setting, and seemed to have a lot more bite in the boat and just a lot more, boat had a lot more jump to it.
That was on the uppers or on diamonds?
The diamonds. We didn't touch, the cars were all the way far forward as we can get on both.
With base tension on the uppers, you didn't do that at all?
Yeah,
Wow.
everything was far forward as we could get, and I don't know, the really big difference in the second race on our boat seemed to be the main sheet trim. You know, even when you're just off a couple inches, you know, you do that final trim and the boat would really jump up and go, which is pretty critical. I mean, it seems as soon as you get that third body close to getting on the rail, you can really stroke in that main sheet really hard, and it seems pretty difficult to over trim these mains. So that's what we were really kind of focusing on in the last race. But yeah, we were about as base as you could get up there today.
Yeah. So seems like a lot of diamond stay adjustment on your two boats. Well, you didn't do too much of that though on your.
But you got to time it, guys. And today you really want to be ramped up, and starting to ramp up at 30 seconds. I mean, if you possibly could. It's hard to time that just right.
Right. Well, and then you have to have the clear lane to do it and everything else. But I think the moral of the story is not getting yourself head to wind or even close, but making sure the boat is always moving forward, like Harry's saying. Never getting slow on the boat, so you always have a little bite in the boat to be able to carve around, up or down, or what have you. Seems to be the key.
I mean, when you go up, I think you got to keep the main in and let the jib off, so you have some bite.
Yeah.
And everything.